Hi, my name is Jacob Tobiah and I'm a sophomore.
And I'm Jane Tobiah and I'm his mom.
Hi, my name's Hannibal Person. I'm a third-year medical student at Duke and I'm president of the Gay Straight Alliance in the medical school.
My name is Haley Warden. I'm a second-year student at the law school.
My name is Jessica and I work in the Duke Global Health Institute.
My name's Larry Mineta. I'm the Vice President for Student Affairs here at Duke.
My name is Steve Nowicki. I'm the Dean and Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education here at Duke University.
My name is Janie Long, and I am the Director of the Center for Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Life at Duke University.
We're the James family. I'm Jules Odendahl James.
I am Sophie Rose James.
I'm Kelly Rowett James.
And we've lived in North Carolina since 1997. We met in graduate school at the University of Texas in 1992. We got married in 1995. We moved to North Carolina in 97 for graduate school, and Sophie was born in 2005, which is the same year I started working at Duke. And Kelly works at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro.
My transition to Duke has been pretty good, honestly. Coming from Western North Carolina, where it wasn't a tolerant environment, to here has been amazing. I was not out in high school just because it wasn't really worth it to me to come out and to have all that backlash. But I came out here at Duke almost immediately. I have a pride flag in my window. All of my floor mates know I'm gay. Then they're all okay with it.
So the first 3 years here were really awful. Just to kind of put it in a nutshell. I didn't quite fit in at Duke, and because you have to live on campus for your first 3 years, I was kind of stuck. And part of that was the coming out process, but a lot of that is just being in a new place and all the intersections of what it means to move somewhere new by yourself.
When I was adjusting to getting to Duke, it started off kind of rocky for me. Because I had come to Duke really excited, I had been out for 2.5 years at that point. And I got there and I got a pride flag from Blue Devils United, the rainbow ones that you see hanging out of windows around campus. And I'd put it up in the common room on the 3rd floor of my dorm because I thought that was a really nice place to hang it. And in my head, I couldn't even fathom the idea that someone wouldn't be okay with that, right? And I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember me telling you about the fact that someone tore the flag down?
Yes. And I remember it was someone you knew, someone in your scholarship program, right?
Someone I knew actually.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that had happened.
And I remember how hard that was for me initially, to feel excluded like that when you're getting into a new environment. And the one thing that was wonderful was having my mom be my mom and having someone so supportive back at home. I knew, because I was so grounded and because I had that nurturing environment, that the love of my parents and the love of my family, and my father had really come around by this point as well. I knew that I could deal with that adversity because I had my mom and my brother and my dad and my whole family as my rock.
I just felt so completely ostracized, so completely confused about who I was. And there were some just very dark periods throughout my high school and college experience where, the kind of storm that was raging inside of me really just came to a head. And I battled feelings of deep depression, problems with anxiety for just years and years, and I just didn't know where to go for help. I didn't know how to deal with all these feelings I was having, and I wasn't ready to confide in anyone, ready to, turn to a friend, turn to a health professional, turn to my parents and say, you know what, this is who I am and I need help.
I can't really speak to what other people's experiences have been or will be, but I know that here at Duke, I've never felt anything other than supported and embraced. And it's just, I've made a community for myself. Freshman year was difficult. I didn't have a community that I wanted. And then I found the Women's Center and I found Blue Devils United and little pockets of people on campus who were liberal and activists, and that made everything in my Duke experience so much better.
I actually went on a retreat called Common Ground, and I told a bunch of strangers who I'd never met, and that was a huge movement for me. because I was accepted so quickly by them, by those who were identified as LGBTQ and those who didn't. And that was sort of like my big coming out, because I came back to campus and I was really fired up about just being really happy with who I was, and I mean, that's the way you should be. So then I think I became a more vocal advocate. I'd always been an ally and gone to events at the LGBT Center, but now I felt like I was really part of the community.
When I got to Duke a couple years later, I was pleasantly surprised at how wonderful the community there was. It not just related to LGBT or being out at Duke, but just in general. The whole Durham area is amazing. I've had nothing but good experiences here.
So when a prospective student comes to the center, because they do now, which is great, and in fact their parents come to the center and come with them, or they email and inquire before they even come to say, what is it like at Duke? And I would say, well, that kind of depends on you, for one thing, and it depends on what you get involved in. I can tell you some things about the campus that I think have changed dramatically. So I mentioned earlier that the numbers were quite small here in the center the first year. We had by the end of that year, we had about, I would say, 25 students who would come in and out of the center, which was a dramatic increase from 4. By the next year, we probably had 35 to 40 who were coming regularly, and now we have hundreds.
I think Duke is an incredibly welcoming place for LGBT students. Just in my time here, I've observed kind of a groundswell of support for various LGBT causes, not just coming from members of the LGBT community, but from just the broader community in general. Whether that be visibility campaigns on the main quad, whether that be coming out day, whether that be political activism against Amendment 1 going on right now, where you have just a broad-based coalition of students, faculty, staff, administrators coming together to support LGBT members of our community here on campus and just broadly all across North Carolina. I've just been always very impressed, and I'm proud to consider myself a vocal supporter of the LGBT community here.
One of the things that I think is really important for us at any educational institution is to have an environment in which everyone feels welcome, everyone feels as though they can contribute, everyone feels as though they can be part of really making it better. Here at Duke University, we value inclusion, and we do whatever we can here at the university to welcome students from wherever they're coming from whatever perspective they bring. And we do that because that is part of making a truly dynamic, open, and progressive environment where new ideas can be formed, where individuals can understand better their dreams and learn what they need to do to achieve those dreams.
Duke is a university like many others in some respects. It's full of people who care, and it's full of some people who are ignorant. And I don't want to deny the difficulties that a gay student and students representing various identities find here and the challenges they'll find, but I can honestly say in the nearly 11 years that I've been here, I've seen a palpable difference. I think we're working very hard, and I think we're seeing an increasingly supportive environment. For me, moving to the state of North Carolina from my home state of Massachusetts was frightening. Who knew what to expect in a southern state? And I think there are some of the same kind of conditions one would expect to find anywhere. But I also feel like that we're seeing some great progress here. There's work yet to be done. But Durham is a terrific community, a community that I think is also getting more progressive by the year. And I just think that Duke has a lot to offer. It will have its challenges, but I think it's a place that I would invite any gay student who is wanting to help a difference, this is a place you can come make a difference, and I welcome you to do.
It's very important to me that we have an inclusive culture for the people who study and work in the School of Medicine. And we've recently undertaken a climate assessment survey so that we can learn more about where there are issues and where people don't feel engaged, don't feel respected, don't feel that the climate is comfortable. And this will be followed up by discussion groups and other mechanisms for trying to better understand our issues and work towards being a place where everyone feels comfortable and included and engaged and respected and valued. And I think that that's where we want to be, and I think that's the kind of place that we are and should be.
It's very important in this university that we have a policy forbidding discrimination on grounds of sexual preference or gender identity. But that's really just the beginning of our commitment in this university. We have a commitment to actually make this a welcoming place for people of every kind of identity, background, and life choice. And second, to make it a place where everybody is always advancing in learning the elemental arts of respecting people and recognizing their humanity, which is the basis of being able to form the kind of groups where people can do things together. We've made a lot of progress. There's progress to be made, but it seems to me that this is just one of the fundamental commitments of the university.
So you may have heard there's an amendment on the ballot. And let me speak a little bit to why I think that could be harmful to the Duke campus. For one thing, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of families out there that are interested in their child coming to university that is going to support them and that they live in an environment that isn't hostile.
One of my friends gave me a banner about voting no on the amendment, and I put it on the back of my chair at work. And I pointed out to people who come. And I get teary talking about this because it's so important to me.
And because I think the thing that people who push for legislation like that forget is that not only are they hurting my family and Jacob and whoever Jacob marries and our children, they're also hurting my mom's grandchildren. You know, and I think they forget that they're hurting straight people as well as gay people, because we're all part of a family. That my kids are not just my kids, they're my parents' grandchildren, they're my brothers, nieces, and nephews. They're people, there's a whole web of people connected to me that are hurt by these kinds of things.
So this amendment is so shocking and upsetting to me because while marriage is not something that is immediately in my, next year or so, like I've got other friends that are, in their early 20s and getting married, and that's not gonna happen for me. But for these family members that have supported me and held me and created my queer family here, it's a huge, huge amount of disrespect. In a place that I really found like comfort and love in my own skin and love for myself and the ways that we love one another. So this amendment was something that I really wanted to mobilize against because it is, we are the last state in the South to fall to this, and I don't want it to happen, and I'm gonna do everything I can to help show folks that it's not the way forward for the state.
Things are changing, and that's a good thing. It doesn't make sense to write discrimination into the Constitution and relegate a group of people to second-class status out of fear that things are changing, because things are going to change no matter what, and this is just going to be embarrassing to North Carolina.
Life can be better in the state, even if, let's say, something happens on the 8th. That means we're sort of further pushed back, and we don't sort of accept that as that's where we're going to be headed. We're going to head somewhere progressive and somewhere as a community where we can take positive steps to be more secure and to be out and open.
To stop being treated as second-class citizens.
As an ally, I think it's important that all of us who are concerned with this issue, who think that people, certain people need to also be recognized as people, whether by law, whether by their fellow citizens. And we need to come together to show that we are against a legal move to further discriminate and oppress people that has never, that has not been visible, that has been silenced in this country.
Here in the state of North Carolina, voters are now being asked to make a choice. That's a choice between allowing people to live the lives that they choose to live in their fullness or not allowing that. In my opinion, that's a pretty clear choice about making it better or not making it better. I know where I stand on that. I believe we need to make it better.
If I had any advice for incoming students, it would be to be yourself in your applications. And if that means that you are LGBT and you're deciding whether it's a good idea to be out on your applications, I mean, that's a very, very personal choice. But I think that you're going to want to be somewhere where you can be yourself. So be open. I think it's a good idea. People will surprise you. They really will.
So I would encourage any student that wanted to go to any school. We do need more queers in higher education, certainly. Go to college, get your education, get your degree, become a professor, and inspire the other queer generations that are coming after us.
I think finally, just being out and proud, when you're ready is a great way to help make things better and move equality forward. If you're able to have a conversation with a peer, a classmate, a teacher, and feel confident in yourself surrounding an LGBT issue, you can really open people's minds.
Even if you don't think you need to, saying to your gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer friends that you support them and that you're really happy that they are who they are. I mean, I can't think of any day in my life where I would be less happy with my day if someone came up to me and said, "Jacob, I'm really happy that you are just who you are." I think everyone needs to hear that, straight or LGBT identified. I think everyone needs to hear that.
In my life, things didn't just get better. It took the support of queer, working class North Carolinians, my entire community.
For me, it only got better because people in my life took a stand to make it better.
And now we, as the Duke community, have a chance to make it better. Not just on Duke's campus, but for the entire state of North Carolina.
On May 8th and throughout early voting in April,
All eligible North Carolina voters, including every Duke student, professor, and employee,
will have the opportunity to vote on an amendment to our state constitution
that defines marriage between one man and one woman
as the only legal union recognized in the state.
Not only does this amendment further ban same-sex marriage, which is already illegal,
it stops North Carolina from ever allowing same-sex domestic partnerships or civil unions.
Because of its broad language, it even has the potential to change the definition of domestic violence.
North Carolina is the only state in the Southeast without such an amendment.
If this amendment passes, thousands of LGBT North Carolina families
just like ours
will never have the hope of receiving the basic rights that all families should enjoy.
Like being able to visit a family member in the hospital or having full legal custody of your children.
By voting against this amendment, you can make it better. By voting against discrimination in our state constitution, you can make it better.
Duke is a university that stands against discrimination, and we are a university that affirms the valuable contributions of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community.
So let's demonstrate our support at the ballot box and vote against Amendment 1.
Vote against the amendment, and together we can make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better. Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Make it better.